So, if I were to say the sin of Sodom in reference to the ancient cities of Sodom and Gomorrah that biblically were destroyed because of their wickedness, if I were to relate certain wickedness, certain sins with them that prompted this destruction, what would you say? Because there's a scripture that isn't referenced very often that I think is worth talking about. Now, this is Ezekiel 16, which the Lord is comparing Samaria with Sodom. But what he says is, Behold, this was the iniquity of thy sister, Sodom. And literally, he's speaking about Samaria. This is seen in the verses previous. All right. Thine elder sister is Samaria. All right. But he says, This was the iniquity of Sodom. Pride. That was the first thing. Fullness of bread, and the abundance of idleness was in her and in her daughters, neither did she strengthen the hand of the poor and needy. They were haughty, committed abomination before me, therefore I took them away as I saw good. So, the first thing mentioned here was pride. God cannot stand pride. An arrogant people, people that don't think that they need any help, because God knows our weakness. God knows how much we actually do need help. It's like the Laodicean church in Revelation, what is it, chapter 3. But anyway, the second and third things are the things that I kind of want to hone in on, because he says an abundance of idleness. That was the third thing. But second was a fullness of bread. And if you actually look up the definitions of those terms in the original languages, the most literal way of presenting that fullness of bread was eating to satisfaction. They ate what they wanted to and they didn't really ever do anything. Fullness of bread and abundance of idleness. And it reminds me of something that my mom always would tell me as I grew up aspiring to the ministry and committing my life to communicating Bible truth. She always told me that the world doesn't need another big bellied, soft handed preacher. And I think those are very wise words, and they represent what the scripture says in Ezekiel 16 here, condemning the sin of Sodom, a fullness of bread and abundance of idleness. That's something to think about. And I would be amiss for saying they did all of that, fullness of bread, abundance of idleness, while never lifting a finger to help anybody else that was in need. That's worth mentioning too, and thinking about and repenting of.